Good morning, everybody. It's time for our Thursday devotional again. I hope that you all can hear me okay. We've got a little work going on here at the church, but hopefully it won't be too awfully loud. But today I want to talk to you a little bit off the beaten path. I want to talk about tension. All throughout Scripture and all throughout Jesus' ministry, he calls Christians to live in a whole lot of different tensions. He calls us to live in the tension between grace and truth. He calls us to be in the world, but not of the world. There's a tension there between those two. He calls us to be innocent as doves, but wise as serpents. He calls us to live in these tensions. And the truth is, as human beings, we often have a tendency to want things to be simple, to want things to be easy. We want things to have an easy answer, and we struggle to live in this tension. We struggle to live in I don't know. We struggle to wrestle with the difficult questions because we really just want easy answers, but sometimes that's just not how Scripture works, and that's not what Jesus has called us to do. And sometimes we see Christians who, in our zeal for simplicity and our zeal for easy answers, we want to take the easy way out. And so we have a tendency to just go one way or the other. We will lean completely into grace and just everything is grace and mercy, and there's no need for truth, or if truth runs counter to that, we just say, well, it's fine, we'll just go over here. Some Christians go the opposite way, and they lean totally into truth, and while they might be technically correct, while they may be able to quote Scripture to you to back up their thought process, they really leave no room for grace, no room for mercy, no room for love. And I talk to my teens about this all the time in our youth ministry, that we can have the right answer, but we can apply it in the wrong way. And the truth is, Jesus would say that we're then still wrong. We have to live within this tension between grace and truth. We have to employ both at the same time and in the same measure. We have to live in the world. We have to be engaged in our culture. We have to be engaged in our society. But Jesus says we shouldn't be of the world. We should be markedly different. We should look different. We should act different. There should be a distinction between us and the world, but we also shouldn't so separate, so insulate ourselves that we're no longer engaged, that we no longer have influence. And I think, again, we can look at the church and we can see churches and Christians who have gone to both extremes of this, rather than living in that tension. Jesus calls us to be innocent as doves, but wise as serpents. And again, it's this kind of opposite idea. We say, well, how does that work together? It's this tension that we live within. The truth is, we live in a world that is full of complexity, that is full of difficult questions to answer. And as Christians, we need to begin to leave room for others and to leave room for ourselves to wrestle with these hard questions, to begin to think critically, to begin to really ask ourselves, what would Jesus do? How would Jesus react? What would Jesus think? What would Jesus say? What would Jesus do in this situation? And we need to learn to live
within the tension, within the difficulty. We need to learn to sometimes just say, you know what, I don't know. And keep working to wrestle and figure it out. This week, I encourage you, don't always try to look for the easy answer. Don't always try to find the easy way out or the easy solution, but begin to endeavor to do the difficult work of wrestling with the hard questions, of living in the tension that Jesus has called us to live in. And I think that you'll find that that type of faith will speak to the people around you a lot more than the easy answers. We love you. Bless you this week. Thank you for joining us this morning. We are grateful for you. Go in His grace today.